Happy New Year. Happy 2023. Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. As you know, we are a channel that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Poola Guy, the chickens, all of us here at Sussex Squad. How are you? Oh, Mama Mia. I forgot Mama Mia. Okay, Mama Mia too. Welcome, guys. Happy 2023. Hope you guys had a great time celebrating. Or if you're like me, you were sleeping, didn't even know when the ball, it was, I think I fell asleep around, 8, 9 o'clock, and then it was the next day. Never did make it to midnight. So, but whatever it is you did, hope you guys had a great time doing whatever it is you're doing, partying, eating. If you're in New York, well, it was like raining all day. So I had no desire. I literally did not leave my house. It was just raining. And I was like, I don't want to be part of that. So I just stayed home and then fell asleep. And so, and I watched some of, I watched it the day before, and then I watched a little bit of it the day Live to Lead. I'm sure a lot of you guys have watched it, and we'll talk about it, just not today. Because honestly, I watched it and it was just so much. I think I'm so overwhelmed. My mind is like, okay, I need to go back and take it, because I didn't know the different episodes would be so long. And so I was like, oh, maybe I need to take this one at a time, because there's so much stuff that I'm like, I'm overwhelmed. So but we'll get to that in 1 second. But yeah, so let me see. I'm gonna go through the chat and see how you guys your New Year's, how you spent it, what you did. Again, if you were like me, you fell asleep. Hey, Cardi Bomber. Cardi says, hello, Petal. Waiting from Smith. Oh, well, the wait no longer. We are here now. Hi, Connie. Our awesome moderator, Lydia, is here. Hi, Lydia. How are you? And our awesome other moderator, Church Nelly, is here, hanging out with us from South Carolina. Hello to all the wonderful squaddies in South Carolina. How are you? And Church Nelly is giving everyone the thumbs up. There you go. Thank you, Church Nelly. And who else is that? Oh, V. Mampufo is here. How are you, V? And our awesome other moderator, Karen M, is here. Hello, Karen M. And let's see who else is here. Karen Bryant is here. Hello, and Emerald and Sonia. Who else is here hanging out with us? Oh, Kathy Gabby is here. Hi, Kathy. And Lottie is here. And Black Queen and Joyce. Hello. Joyce is like, hello, everyone in Petal. I'm so proud of Harry. The docuseries in his book will be time to tell his story. Story he has never been able to tell all his life. He will close this chapter. And I feel the same. So most of our time today, we're going to be spending talking about a little fire that dropped on us today that lighted the world up today in royal news and beyond, really. So let's see what else. I see myself in the chat. Who else is here? Oh, hi, Sistrid. Saying hello to everybody. Hi. Let's see. Who else is here? Oh, Jeannie Hyde is here. Hello, Jeannie. Welcome. And I see Tiger Cub down here. Hi, Tiger Cub and Black Queen. Hello. Let's see. A couple more before we go. Oh, Sylvia's here. Hello, Sylvia. How are you? Welcome. And so we will say hello. Oh, Janet's here. Let's say hi to Janet too. And we'll say hi to everyone else as we go along. So yes, my friends. Let me see if I see what anybody's telling me what they did for New Year's Eve. If it's anything different from me, who slept. Let's see. What did you guys do? Nobody did anything? Or did I miss a whole bunch of stuff that people said to me what they... Oh, Kathy... I knew I couldn't be the only one that slept through. Kathy Garvey says, Petal, I slept through most of it too. Well, at least you got some of it. So that's good. It's a lot better than me. I, again, fell asleep and got up New Year's Day. So there you go. Oh, Karen M says, it was raining in Las Vegas and California too. Oh, so I guess it's not just New York. Okay, there you go. So it was raining there too. The Lord was showering us and giving us, some New Year's showers, blessing us. I'm sure it was a little bit different for those outside. I know I saw a little clip of Anderson Cooper. They usually do this drunk thing at Times Square. So I think this year CNN banned them, so they can't be drinking, and they were all like, being a little not very happy that they couldn't be drunk. It's so wild how there's a culture among us that it's like you can't have fun if you're not drinking. And it's like, wow, that's deep. That you don't know how to enjoy yourself unless you're inebriated. And it's just like, wow. It's like you really gotta learn how to have fun without being drunk and being yourself, and there's all that. But it's just as wild how so much of that clip that I saw was about not being drunk and not allowed to be drunk. It's just like, wow, very interesting. I mean, I don't drink. I've never drank in my life, and so I think I'm too much of a control freak for it. So I like to be aware of everything too much. So I would never allow that. And I always tell this story about the only time really I've ever not, the only time I've ever, at least for me, been drunk. And I was about, I don't know, I would say about 8 years old, around there. And we went to a party, one of our family, or, we have extended families. Some people in the Caribbean and my Trinidad and Tobago squatties can confirm, like, you have extended families that are your families that you don't really know why your family or how your family, but they're your family. They're one of those, uncles and aunts, and you're like, how is that my uncle? And you're like, nobody can explain it, but it's your uncle and your aunt. So it's one of those. And we went there and someone gave me wine. And the next thing I know, I was in someone's car. And the next thing I know, I was home. And I don't know whose car it was. I don't know how I got in the car, and I don't know how I got home. And then it was the next day. And that has freaked me out my entire life. I talk about this story all the time. But that has freaked me out my entire life, that I don't know how I got in the car. I don't know whose car it was. I don't know how I got home. Nothing. And ever since then, I do not touch that stuff. And people, I have friends like, oh, Pedal, it was, you were little, just try. I was like, no, I'm too much of a control freak. I like to know I like to have my wits about me. And so it was just, have those childhood things that has traumatized you. That is one for me. And so that is the reason why I don't touch any of that stuff. Because for me, if something can do that to you, I was like, no. And again, I'm a control freak in that way. So that's why I don't drink. Let's see, moving on. Let's see. But anyways, I was about to talk again about Live to Lead. That was what I thought we were going to be talking about today. We were still, before yesterday, we were still not sure if Anderson Cooper and, Tom Bradbury were going to do, if Harry was going to do an interview with them. We had no idea. At least I was hoping. And, maybe I'll just put my New Year's thing up here that I forgot to share with you guys, just in case. This was my little card to everyone. So I still wasn't sure. I was hoping, because I like Anderson Cooper and I also like Tom Bradbury. So I was hoping. And so did not realize until very early this morning, got up really, really early this morning. I don't know, 1, 2 o'clock this morning, whatever it was. And there's like, oh my goodness. I was a little shocked. Even though I was hoping, I still felt like I wasn't prepared. I was not prepared for it. And it was just like, wow. And it's funny because one of the clips that I saw from Anderson Cooper, he is one of the people that hosts in New York, the ball drop in New York. He does it with Andy Cohen, and they do their drunk thing. It was Andy Cohen hinting at it and telling him, I haven't watched it in a while, but I'm going to be watching it on the 9th. And he got the date wrong, but he kind of hinted at it, and you could see, and Anderson was a little squirming. It was like, oh, we're not supposed to talk about this, And then, they're like, well, I guess we might as well tell everybody. And it was just like, oh my goodness. Again, even though I knew it was, not new, but I was hoping, I still felt like I wasn't ready. So they tweeted this out. And then after that, later on, a few hours later, whatever, we got the video, because I was thinking if they didn't drop a video, we will forever be having those lip readers come on and try, because, we know they were talking, but there was no sound from Harry and from Anderson Cooper. So CBS wisely bypassed the lip readers and gave us a video. And so I was very happy, because I was like, oh Lord, we're going to be inundated with a bunch of lip readers trying to lip read what Harry's saying. And so I love it. I was just like, and one of the things that's very, very clear, and I'm really happy that Harry and Meghan they have keyed in on the British press relationship with the royal family, or vice versa, their symbiotic relationship that they have going. And, the more I think about it, it's just like, they're always like, oh, Prince Charles wants to have a relationship with his son, which Harry basically knocked that lying narrative down. But it's kind of like, I was thinking like, what kind of a father would choose his relationship with the press over the relationship with his own son? And it's just like, you have to be really, like, you got to be really sick to make that choice. And they're gonna have to have a whole lot of mess over your head for you to choose the press over a relationship with your son. And that's what Harry and Meghan are making very, 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 very clear, is that the reason they don't have a relationship with the royal family, they don't have a relationship with Meghan's dad's side of the family, is because of the British press. And so one of the things that I love that, because just as how the press has groomed the UK, at least, the tabloid reading, right-wing readings, leaning people in the UK to hate Harry and Meghan without cause by drumming the same narrative over and over and over, where people are now hating them and have no idea why, and no credible reason for hating two people they don't know. Harry and Meghan are a single focus, and they have done that with just a single focus, all of their media, the single narrative. And Harry and Meghan have done the same thing with this. They are going on a single narrative. The reason that we do not have a relationship, the reason for the, all of this mess, is because the royal family, the family's decision to choose the press over family. And it's the relationship with the royal family that is at the root of all of this mess. And so I am really happy to see them drive this narrative home. Whether the royal family responds to it in a way where they, decide like, oh, wait a minute, this is destroying everything. This will eventually destroy the monarchy. Unless somebody there wakes up to that fact, because that's exactly what's happening, they're going to just keep right along going. So whether they, again, they can choose to wake up and be like, okay, this is not working. We need to change some things. Or they'll just keep going right along. And at this point, they are just going right along. But anyway, this is actually, these are the exact quotes from Prince Harry. I'm going to move my banner so that I can get everything. We can read everything. And again, as the little scrolly thing in banner at the bottom says, if you are new here and you have not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe and click that notification bell right there at the bottom of this video. And so you can subscribe to our channel. Yes, I can't speak. Subscribe to our channel. So if you haven't, and I posted this in our community page, but if you know, some people don't have Twitter. And so if just in case you had not been able to watch it, these are quotes from Prince Harry. So I just literally took the quotes from him. It says, one of the things he says, every single time I've tried to do a private, oh, shoot, let me move this. I think private time. Oh, wait, hang on one second. Oh, every single time I've tried to do it privately, there have been briefings and leakings and planting of stories against me and my wife. Another thing he says, it says, the family motto of never complain, never explain, but it's just a motto. He goes on to say, there's a lot of complaining and a lot of explaining being done through leaks. He also said they will feed or have conversation with correspondents or royal reporters or royal experts, however they want to term themselves. And then he goes on to say, he says, they will feed or have conversations with the correspondents, and that correspondence will literally be spoon-fed information and write a story. And at the bottom, which you'll see all the time, at the bottom of it, that story, it will say that they have reached out to Buckingham Palace for comment. But the whole story is Buckingham Palace commenting. So when we're being told for the last 6 years that we can't put out a statement to protect you, but you could do it for others in the family, there becomes a point where silence is betrayal. And so, or silence is complicity. They're definitely colluding, And so that's those are some of the, or at least the quotes from this clip. And it's very interesting, when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh. And then not just a few minutes or so later, he also, because we were hoping that he did an interview with Tom Bradby, which apparently is going to be a 90-minute interview. And apparently Tom Bradby came to California, Montecito, they are friends, to do this interview. We'll get back to that picture in the bottom in there a second. But this one Harry was a lot more intense, or maybe it's just the way they cut the trailer, because it just, one like piece of a line or whatever that he says. And it's very interesting. This one, he's like, these are just, again, a lot of quick edits in this. It says, it never needed to be this way. Another thing he said, leaking and planting of stories. And he says, I want a family, not an institution. He also says, they feel it's better to somehow keep us as villains, him and Meghan, painting them as villains. Then he says, they've shown absolutely no willingness to reconcile. That kicks that, all of those olive branch nonsense stories out. And then he says, I would like to have my father back. I would like to have my brother back. So those are the specific quotes that Harry says in those two promo clips. So we're going to start with this and then get back to Anderson Cooper in a second. But I have to go back to that photo because it's so weird with this photo. So this is some house, obviously, in whether it's one of their, part of their property in Montecito or somebody's house they're using. But it kind of does that look like, and I didn't go back to check and I was just looking at it. Does that look like the photo that Harry and Meghan did and they were claiming that it's at the Queen's dollhouse or something? I don't know. The windows in the back and the furniture kind of looks, I don't know. I have to go back. I haven't checked, but I literally was just looking at it and thinking, wait a minute, does that look like the same place? I don't know. I have to go back and check. I haven't. But anyway, back to what Harry is saying. He's like, and him and Meghan have said this quite a bit, it didn't need to be this way. And they're so great. They're so correct. It definitely, none of this needed to have happened. None of this. All of this was so unnecessary. If only the royal family and the royal institution weren't jealous and just completely mean-spirited and sold their soul to the British press. It's just like unbelievable that this whole mess could have been avoided. And they are still and it's just like, they're just people that really refuse to look at themselves, refuse to change. They're in this bubble that is, and just basically, I guess, listening to the tabloid press. And it's unbelievable that they cannot see where they are. And this very press is going to destroy them. And again, Harry, another interview of talking about the leaking and the planting of stories. And one of the things he's like, I want a family, not an institution. So I'm very much interested to hear, this. Again, this is just a line of what he was saying, but I'd love to hear his thoughts, his full thought about this. Because it's about what what members of the royal family will need to do to change. Because right now it's just an institution. It's not a family. And Harry's making that very, very, very clear. He doesn't want that thing that they're doing, because, they're trying to be like, oh, no, we're a family, but then use the institution to destroy each other. That's not a family. And so, and he also talked about them, trying to keep him and Meghan as villains, which is what they've been doing. They've been playing the Sussexes as the villains in Montecito against their poor, desperate, and wonderful royals who are just at the mercy of those evil Sussexes throwing bombs at them. And so I'm so happy that Harry, laid it out about the nonsense of, never complain, never explain. That's just so they could have plausible deniability. Oh, no, it's not me. I didn't say anything. You don't see my name there. There will not be, they would not man up and woman up. And if they're going to say something, do what Harry and Meghan are doing. Sit in front of a camera and put your name on it. If you're going to have one of your spokespeople speak, then yes, let it be an official statement. And one of the things I love about what Harry and Meghan are doing is that they're taking those royal sources, those royal insiders, those close to the royal, whatever, all of those palace sources, and they're making it into a dirty word. Because all of a sudden, whenever you hear palace sources, you're going to know exactly, oh no, that's Buckingham Palace speaking. They're not going to be able to hide behind palace sources anymore, because now this is being exposed. And hopefully taking those jobs away from those nasty royal reporters who've used and abused that position to target, and the royal family have used those positions to target and abuse other members of their family. So hopefully, this is what I'm hoping, that by doing it and targeting these relationships, which need to go away, it will make royal reporters and royal sources become a dirty word, that they will not be a benefit to these people. And so that's what I'm hoping. And also Harry in the end saying, I would like to get my father back. I would like to get my brother back. But if you hear how he says it in the video, it's obvious, as somebody, who edits video, it's obvious in the way he's saying it. There's a big but at the end that's obviously left out, that's edited out for the promo, because, the reason why they would have done something like that is because they want to, carry on that narrative. Oh, Harry says he wants his father back. He wants his brother back. That horrible Meghan in Montecito is keeping Harry away from his father. It's keeping Harry away from his brother. But when you listen to the way how Harry says it, it's I'd like to have my father back and I'd like to have my brother back, but they're leaking stuff about us. They are abusing us in the press, and it can happen. It's obvious the direction that conversation is going, but not the way the royal reporters would be reporting that in the next few days until we get the full fleshed out what Harry is talking about. So for me, it's very, very, I'm like, Harry is like, he is over it. He is so done. He is so done. And I absolutely love it. And it's funny, it's also too how royals report things and how, the US reported. Anderson Cooper is just sitting there talking to Harry, and they're just talking straight facts, and it's just very interesting, with this clip, there's no music, there's no drama, there's no nothing. It's just Harry talking, and Anderson and him and Harry just, having a conversation. But then you hear the ITV clip, and it's like, I don't remember the music, but it's like the drama they're building, and it's just like, That is so unnecessary. That is so unnecessary. Just let the guy talk. You don't even have to cut. Just let him talk. And I was just very interested. It was just very interesting how the US version of it is presented with no drama. And the British brought is like with this like high drama. I want my brother. I mean, even, granted, Harry does look more intense talking to Tom Bradley because again, he's friends with Tom Bradley. But I love that. Maverick says, when do we see these interviews? They are both dropping. Both of them are dropping on Sunday, the 8th, which is this coming Sunday. So it'll be 60 Minutes is going to be dropping at 3 a.m. UK time, which is about 10 p.m. US time, it's going to be 7 p.m. Pacific time, which is in California, which would mean, for us in New York, it'll be 10 p.m., which is when 60 Minutes usually drop. And so for that hour, we got Harry. But in the UK, it's going to be a 90-minute interview, and I'm not sure exactly what time it's going to be dropping. It's going to be on ITV. If I find any links for those of you who are not in the UK, like moi, if I have any links to where and how you can watch it overseas, I will post it in our community page, so that way we can all see it. And, obviously not... if it not if part of it conflicts with Anderson Cooper's, but it may not because, actually it won't, because by the time Anderson, the 60 Minutes one drops, it'll be 3 a.m. in about 3 a.m. or whatever in the UK anyway. So yeah, it'll be about 3 a.m. in the UK, so it won't conflict. So yeah, so on the 8th, next Sunday, everybody, that's why I put in there, like, please take your vitamins, stock up on potato chips, stock up on, pizza, stock up on whatever you need, popcorn. Buckle your seatbelt. If you don't have a seatbelt, buy a seatbelt, buckle it, because we're going to need it. So yeah, and again, it's something tells me that and I heard someone on Twitter, I think, I was reading someone was saying that the promo for Spare might be a lot more dramatic in the sense of it's immediate stuff that just happened. For example, I'm sure they'll ask them about the funeral. I'm sure they'll ask them about the Jubilee. I'm not sure, but I'm assuming. So it's current things that just happened. So it might be a lot more immediate for, it might be a lot more immediate for now. So it might be a lot more like, than say the book, because a lot of the book would be past stuff. So I don't know, but anyway. Oh wait, Sylvia said, I thought the 60 Minutes was CBS at 7 p.m. Eastern. I saw 7 p.m. Pacific. Maybe I got it wrong then. I thought I saw 7 p.m. Pacific. Okay, so don't quote me on any of this. Let me confirm, or if anybody has their CBS thing, that they can confirm the time, because I thought it said, I could have sworn it says 7 p.m. Pacific. So I could be very, very, very wrong. So the correct information, if anyone has it here, or if not, I will post it on the community page. So yeah, so don't quote me on any times. All I know, it's absolutely going to be on Sunday. Sunday at night sometime. And so yeah, both of them are going to be yeah, so yeah. Yeah, 7 p.m. Marjorie, 7 p.m. Eastern or Pacific? That's what I want to confirm, because if it's 7 p.m. Pacific, then it's 10 p.m. Eastern. So let me know if it's Eastern or Pacific time. That would be really great. Yeah, that would be really great. Okay. So what else? So it's so funny. Someone posted this today, and I was like, oh my gosh, 17 hours. With if you're doing the Audible, which I'm going to be doing, also get the Kindle version and the hard copy version. But 17 hours listening to Prince Harry. He, he did this one, and we're going to be listening to his voice for 17 hours. So yes. I am looking forward to this. I am so looking forward to this. It is just and it'll be amazing. Oh goodness, I just can't wait. It's next week, you guys. On the 10th, there will not be a podcast because I'll be reading all day. So that I know for sure. Let's see. Maverick says, I love his voice, me too. That's why I'm like, 17 hours of Prince Harry talking? Yeah, sure. Oh, Joseph Bruno says 60 minutes, 7 p.m. Eastern. Oh, okay. So 7 p.m. Eastern, which is what, 4 p.m. Pacific time. So thank you so much. Thank you. And if you're in the US, obviously it'll be on CBS. And if you're overseas and want to, I will see if I can find a link. And if I do, where you can watch it, I will post it in our community page. And also the same for ITV, because we don't get ITV here in the US. So if I find a link where we can watch also Tom Bradby's, I will post it in our community page as well. So that would be awesome. Thank you, Joseph Bono. Thank you. Let's see. And a little bit, before, because right now with just those two clips, I'm like, oh, Harry's going to burn it all down. He's going to be, he's going to take them down. But a wise person posted this today, and I was like, okay, I got to go back to what exactly Prince Harry says. It says, it was one of the most searing images of the 20th century. Two young boys, two princes walking behind a mother's coffin as the world watched in sorrow and horror. As Diana, Princess of Wales, was laid to rest, billions wondered what the princess might be thinking and feeling and how their lives would play out from that point on. For Harry, this is his story at last. It is raw, unflinching, honest. Spare is a landmark publication full of insight, revelations, self-examination, hard-won wisdom about the eternal power of love and the eternal power of love over grief. So, although in my mind it's like, yes, take them down, I have to go back and it's like, okay, what is this book about again? So sort of like temper my my passion about what Harry's book is about, is going back and really remembering it's about, it's full of insight, revelation, self-examination. So it's not going to be, I am perfect. It's going to be, talking about his own struggles, his own mistakes and all of that stuff. Hard-won wisdom. In order to get wisdom, you make mistakes, you fall in your face and you get wisdom. So I'm expecting all of that in there, and a lot of love, that overcome grief, with love with, Meghan, and love from his friends, and, maybe some of his family as well, when they're not being, when they're not leaking information. I don't know, whatever. But and so I had to go back and just like, okay, this is not about burning it all down. It's not about destroying everything, and but it's raw and unflinching. So it's going to be a lot of things about him that, I'm assuming revealing things that are not, great, things about himself as well. Because as we know, we make mistakes as teenagers, we make mistakes as adults and fall on our faces. And that's how we gain wisdom a lot of times. So, sometimes we gain wisdom from other people's mistakes, but a lot of us are, if you're like me, you fall on your face and then it's like, oh, that's what they were trying to explain. Yeah, okay. So who knows? So I look forward to it. To what is going to be. So I am so excited. It's like, I think I ran out of my multivitamins. I'm going to go stock up on that because I need my energy because this is a lot. This is a whole lot. I have not checked in with, with Twitter in a few hours, so who knows what royal reporters are out there saying. They're all falling over themselves. I'm sure it's going to be like, Harry is bashing his family again, and the whole mess. So whatever it is, I think at this point we know what they're going to be talking about. we can probably quote the headlines for by now. So yeah. And Fu says, I could hear Harry's voice for days and days because he possesses a rarity called integrity, love, compassion, and the fact that his beloved mom Diana is not forgiven and hidden. He is real. He's the real deal. Yeah, I look forward to hearing his voice as well. So yeah, Fatima says, I will listen later. I've got to go. Have a great day, everyone. That's okay, Fatima. You got things to do, places to go, people to see. You can catch it on the replay. Thanks for coming by, though. Um, Lana Williams says, watching the Rose Bowl parade while listening to Pedal and the float so wonderful. Oh, Mom, if you're listening to this right now, there's a parade on. My mom has been asking me about parades for like since Christmas, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't listen. I don't pay attention to parades. I've never been to a parade, never been interested. But my mom loves parades, and so thank you for letting me know. So, Mom, if you're listening, there's a parade, the Rose Bowl parade on. I had no idea about it. So find it. So thank you, Lorna. You've just helped my mom out if she's listening. So yeah, she's asking me about different. I was like, I think the Macy's parade. I don't know. I never watched parades, so I have no idea. I don't even have a TV. So let's see. Lana says Harry's a warrior. He is not only fighting for his wife and children, but the legacy of his mother. He is too, and I think too he's fighting for that as well. But I also think Harry loves the generation of kids that are coming up, even his brother's kids, and Eugenie's kids, and Beatrice's kids, all that whole generation that's coming up. Because if this pattern doesn't break, that's what's going to be handed down to them, and his kids are going to get the brunt of it. And so I feel like him and Meghan are fighting for the next generation. They're trying to break the cycle, and people who break cycles like this, man, you got to be tough. You have to have so much courage, because it's not easy breaking these cycles. Because the people who benefit from these cycles, i.e., the British press especially, they will come at you with everything because they benefit, especially financially, from these cycles. And so, I mean, as we've seen already, they've already started on William and Kate's kids. They've already put them in the boxes. George the good one. You see that painting he did? Oh, wonderful, George. I mean, granted, it was beautiful. He, imitated someone else's work, and he did a great job. But you already see that. The wonderful George. You see Charlotte being painted at bossy. You see articles about that already. You see Louis as the court jester. He is the one that, they'll have in a bar somewhere, drop just the way they did to Harry. They've already put them in those boxes and started reporting on them in those boxes already. And I'm sure Harry, a lot of this stuff is fighting for that generation. Because again, if this cycle doesn't break, that whole thing is going to be passed down to all of these kids, and it will destroy them, as it is, it's done a lot with him and his mom and all of that stuff. So I think for me, that's why they're fighting so much. Because gosh, I shudder if this doesn't break, for when Lily and Archie grows up, because this is, oh my goodness. And with social media, we see what they're doing now, let's see, moving on. Let's see what else we have. Oh, this is funny. This historian, he was looking up history books, and then this is what he says. He's like, oh, the history book top 5 on Kindle. I'm sensing a theme. And it's obviously, Spare, number 1, number 2, number 4, and then the Queen at number 5, and then that little Ask the History right in the middle. And he's like, I am sensing a theme here. So all of Harry's book are on the tops of top 5 of Kindle. It's right. I mean, this book is huge. This book is so huge, and at this point is where you feel like, okay, the British press are like, okay, we have thrown everything at this, including the kitchen sink and everything else. We've thrown all the silverware. We've thrown everything. And this book is still, I don't know what they expected. It's like, it's Prince Harry. Of course people want to know what he's saying, people want to know. And as we know, abusers don't like, they don't like when people call them out and expose them. So there we go. What else? And one of our wonderful squaddies put this all together. These are all, and it's probably more by now, books that people have written about Prince Harry and about him and Meghan. All of these people have been writing. Most of these people have probably never even met him. And they're all making money off of Harry. And now a lot of these same people are attacking Harry for telling his own story. A lot of these, people have, written stories about Princess Diana, about Meghan, and are making money off of it. They have never met Harry. They don't know him. They might have just met him for a minute in like an event, whatever. In the case of Angela Levin, you've met him for 20 minutes or even that much. And they're all making money off of this guy and still have the nerve, gall, and audacity to be upset that Harry is writing his own story. And their narrative is, oh, he's selling out. And it's just like, what are you talking about? It's like British reporters, I think there need to be a special school for British reporters, because I'm like, it's kind of like that narrative of, oh, they're invading their own privacy. I'm like, you guys, you somehow, when you were told to go to school, somehow you missed the school part and went somewhere that wasn't school. And it's just like, what? So, but anyways, but yeah, and now there are even more. So I think some of them are probably not even in this, but look at the amount of books that's been written about somebody's life, and he has never said, he has never spoken about his life, and yet they still have the nerve to be upset that he's writing about his own life. Unbelievable. And just in case people are, I can't believe Harry's doing 60 Minutes. I haven't heard that narrative, and I hope nobody is stupid enough to say it. But one of our wonderful, and I think she's a squaddie, alerted us to the fact that, oh, yes, Claire Kanda, at Claire Kanda on Twitter, alerted us to the fact that Prince Charles actually did CBS 60 Minutes. And also Prince Philip did 60 Minutes Australia. And it's so funny, I haven't gotten a chance to watch the Prince Charles's yet, but I did watch some of Prince Philip's. And it's very interesting because he was doing the Royal Britannica, which is the huge yacht, the royal yacht that was visiting Australia. They did it on there, and it was all about conservation and stuff like that. He was there to talk about conservation, but it's really wild because as he was being interviewed, one of the things you notice very quickly is that how little, because they're not used to answering questions. And I think Prince Philip is such a, I don't know, crotchety person that is just like, they're just not used to answering people. And it's almost like, how dare you ask me that? And it's just like, well, you're in an interview, so I can ask you that, But if you watched it, one of the things that the reporter says, Ray Martin, he was a reporter that did it. And this was back in, I think, the 80s, or the 90s, whenever he did this. I forgot what year he did this interview. But and I actually tweeted about it earlier today. So I tweeted, it's like Prince Philip in 60 Minutes Australia. Ray Martin, the reporter, said, and Ray Martin thought this about Prince Philip before the interview. He says he thought he would be eloquent, elegant, and pompous. And he did the interview and he was all three. It was very funny when he said that. Yep, he was all of that. And then he also thought he would be very, what is that word? I can't remember. Just kind of like, fussy in the interview. And he did the interview and it was also, yep, he was that too. And one of the things, he also referred to Prince Philip as a royal handbag. And I was like, oh, because, he's on the Queen's arm. And he was saying that he just couldn't imagine being in that position and what that must have been like for Prince Philip to be in that position. And again, to be in that position for all the years that he's been married, over 70 years, whatever, or however long. He was the Queen consort. And it just, it was just really wild from even back then to hear the reporter call him a royal handbag. And I was like, oh my God. And yeah, it's very interesting. Also, one of the things that from that interview is just seeing how the royals are just, they, it's one of those things that is alarming to me when you hear, oh, the royals are about conservation. Yet these same royals would pick up a gun and go shoot an innocent animal, go shoot some innocent birds flying around. And yet they're the head of these conservation groups or these environmental groups. And they have helicopters and cars and they use them as, a helicopter as an Uber. And it's just like, and it's just the whole thing. It was just this contradiction because here he is, talking about conservation and protecting animals and protecting the sea life and all of these things. And in the same breath, he is okay with, people killing these little seal cubs. I mean, I'd never seen that before. It was so shocking and alarming that I didn't realize that was happening. They would kill these cubs in I guess the North Pole or Alaska, wherever they do it. And they would kill them. And he felt completely fine that it was okay to do that. And I was like, are you serious? This man who is sitting there doing an interview and it was just like, well, no wonder. Because the same people who would be saying they're protecting animals and they're protecting elephants are the same ones that will have the elephant tusk that, how many hundreds of them are sitting at, and I guess Buckingham Palace or wherever that they have in their possession that they've never really gotten rid of. At least they haven't said they have. And it's just like, they have all this stuff of ivory and all of that stuff, and they've never gotten rid of it. And so it is just really wild, the contradictions. And it was just, the reporter was just a little stunned as himself. And I was just like, are you serious? And I'm like, what? That just, that hypocrisy is the same one that Prince Charles has, the same one William has, and they constantly attack Harry and Meghan, especially Harry, especially with, the climate, whatever. And I'm like, well, he learned it from these two, he learned it from Charles and Philip, because it's like you sit in an interview and you're like, are you serious? So, but anyways, I will post it in our community page. It's on YouTube if you ever want to take a look at it and just, just kind of see what he did and what he is like and how, he was very like, I'm telling you, these people need to get out more, and they need to have, and you could tell they're just not used to anybody challenging them in any way. It's like instantly so defensive, and it's just like, oh my goodness. Anyways, that's all. Anything that Harry has done, Charles and Philip or the Queen or whomever have done it before. So interesting. And someone posted this today, and they said, never underestimate a cycle breaker. Not only did they face years of generational trauma, but they stood in the face of that trauma and said, this ends with me. This is brave. This is powerful. This comes at a significant cost. Never underestimate a cycle breaker, by Nate Postlewaite, I guess. Postlewaite. And thank you, Joe Diva Runner, for posting it on Twitter. And I just thought this was so, so, so true. What Harry and Meghan are doing, look at the abuse they have been taken from all sides. I'm telling you, it takes so much courage to break cycles. And so I am pleased, pray for them, at least continue. We're all praying for them already, but please continue to pray for them, because my goodness, it takes a lot of courage, a lot of bravery to stand up, as it says, to stand up and say, no, this ends with me. It is not going to be passed on to another generation. And I'm going to do, if I need to call each one of you out by name, number, and whatever else, this cycle breaks with me. And so I when I saw that, I was like, yep. And I love that they put it right there on top of Harry and Meghan, because it takes everything, so. Lorna, I think you're it today. I'm always dropping on you. Says Petal, what about the fox hunt in the UK that took decades to ban in the UK? Yeah, exactly. They used to be part of that. I mean, we've seen that on on what is it, The Crown. They would do that. They also do the birds. They're shooting those birds. I mean, and William is that now was I think was a couple of years ago was he was appointed as a patron of this place that like a bird sanctuary kind of place. I don't know if that's what you call it in the UK, but it's that kind of place. And everybody was like, "Excuse me, this guy shoots birds." And that's that's the hypocrisy. I mean, it's just unreal. Yeah, they do that. And so it was just very interesting. And again, I don't really know a whole lot about Prince Philip. I never really researched him, never really read up on him. As I was telling you guys, I recently read up on the Queen so I could know more about her, and also Prince Charles. So I guess the next is to really read up on Prince Philip. And yeah, that will be interesting. Very, very, very interesting. And apparently today is an anniversary. Today is the day that Prince Harry had to pull out of Afghanistan. Today is when it was when the reporters, I guess in Europe, or is it Australia? I forget where there were reporters exposed where he was in Afghanistan, that he was in Afghanistan, and they had to pull him out. And so I'm actually going to post this interview as well. Not interview, but probably an interview. A clip of Prince, now King Charles, talking about, that he was disappointed for Harry, that he had to pull out. And I'm like, sure. I'm sure y'all wanted him out so he can go do work that William didn't want to do. So, but today is that anniversary, and I didn't realize that. And I was like, oh, wow, interesting. So, yeah, very, very interesting. So I'll post all of this in the community page that you can actually see it. I'm going to jump in the chat just to see what you guys are saying before we continue. Mad World says, in one of the clips from 60 Minutes, Harry said that the royal family does explain, but they use the British media instead of voicing their explanations themselves. Yeah, they hide for to be like so that they can uphold this fake never complain, never explain, we don't talk about anything, we don't talk about people's we don't talk about this. They hide behind royal sources so they can have plausible deniability. Oh, I didn't say that, I never said anything. Unbelievable. And and again, I'm really happy our Harry is exposing all of it. The Bertha says Harry is doing all the talking, yet the blame for the revelation is blamed on Meghan. Make it make sense. Yes. Misogynistic, misogyny, and or misogynoir. A lot of times that sort of thing, targeting Black and brown women, because of course to them Meghan is controlling Harry. That's the narrative there. Meghan is controlling Harry, so he's only saying what Meghan wants him to say. Unbelievable. Black Queen said, she's talking to Kathy Gabby. Yes, maybe if they explain, they will accidentally tell the truth and tell on themselves. Sigh. Yes, exactly. And again, which exposes the so-called royal reporters who claim their report without fair and favor. I was like, well, if y'all reported without fair and favor, y'all be asking some questions of the people that you're covering, and you never do. You just cover them and report on the fashion Kate Middleton is wearing, or Camilla is wearing, or if they're smiling and waving. You never ask them any questions. So that cannot be reporting without fair and favor now, is it? That's not asking them any questions, is it? As Harry said, they are a PR arm of the royal family. Let's see. Diane says, truth told, likely Chaz was one who told the Rhoda where Harry was. When I thought so. Are you talking about when they left Canada? And when they exposed where they were in Canada, when they went on the vacation, and then exposed when they were at Tyler Perry's house. According to Harry, 6 months after they got to Canada, 6 weeks, I'm sorry, after they got to Canada, that was exposed. And then 6 weeks after they got to Tyler Perry, that was exposed. I would not be surprised. I remember Charles, especially when they were in Canada, Charles had COVID. Harry would have had to call or something, contact them, and then they found out. Not long after, they found out where he was. When they found out where Harry and Meghan were at Tyler Perry's house was the day after, or at least when they reported it, was the day after Archie's birthday. I am sure somebody in the UK got a call, or they called Harry, and somehow they were able to figure out that they were not in Canada and where their location was. Because it's really wild. It was when Charles had COVID and right after Archie's birthday. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. So yeah. Let's see. Cookies and Creamer, awesome moderator, says the Unroyals are going to come after the Sussexes with everything they got. Yeah, that's why I said, oh, buckle up your seatbelts. That's why it's important that the Unroyal ties with Politico, Wooten, Clarkson, Piers Morgan keep trending on social media. Yeah, and that's why I'm happy that Harry keeps talking about the relationship with the royals and the press, so people understand why this stuff is happening. They're getting the root, and I'm glad that is sinking into people, because more and more people are talking about that they are seeing that a lot of this stuff is coming from the British royal family and their relationship with the press. So absolutely. And yes, they are going to come. They are going to come after the Royals, and I'm not even going to deal with it, because we've heard over the weekend that the royal family gave at least giving Jason Knauf the LVO, whatever, those honor things, quote unquote honor things, and that's part of the course for the royal family. At first, I was like, oh, those despicable royals, and then I was like, wait a minute. These are the same royals. I mean, Jimmy Savile, the rapist guy, the pedophile, he was a knight. He was knighted. And even when it came out, what he did and how horrendous his crimes were, the Queen refused to take back the knighthood. And so that's who these people are. They, Jason Knauf is the new Michael Fawcett. We know Michael Fawcett and King Charles and their relationship, and that's what Jason Knauf is. And so to expect more awards and honors, because why? He knows where their bodies are buried. They have to keep him happy. They have to do it. So yeah. Think of other peoples that have awards and honors from the royal family, Kevin Spacey, Harvey Weinstein. I mean, it just, yeah. So Jason Knauf having it is just, that's who they are. That is who they are. Honestly, if it wasn't for Prince Andrew's interview that he did, that, interview with Emily Maitlis, and that whole thing blowing up from that, he would have still had all his titles and stuff. He would have still, Virginia may not be, in a position where she, she would have gotten whatever awards that she's, money that she's gotten. It's because of that whole interview stuff. If that didn't happen, he would have still had it. So for me, it's part of course for the royal family. That's who they are. That's what they award. They will attack and destroy someone who called them out and speak the truth, and they will award basically criminals. It's just who they are. And so yeah. And quickly on this is and I'm sure nobody here does this, but I pulled this up because I just wanted to just alert us to, I mean, we all know that, don't believe everything you read online, especially on Twitter, vet everything. And some, a couple of people posted these things. And for some reason, some among us, may not even be here, they just looked at it and thought it was real. And it's like, you need to learn what parody is. And the book thing is like, someone posted it that that they found Joanna Weiss, who wrote that political article, they found her diary, and so they wrote this whole parody of what they think her diary is. And some people have actually thought that it was real. And it's like, no, we gotta understand. And then amazingly enough, some people looked at this Daily Mail thing and they thought it was a real article from Rebecca English. And it says William's best friend, Jason Knauf, who helped him bully Harry and Meghan out of is the lieutenant of the Royal Victorian Order. Now, if you know Rebecca English and you know what she writes, you know this would not be what she would write. It's somebody just parodying the whole thing, because more than likely she wrote that Jason Knauf, the one who revealed Meghan bullied staff, which is because she's written a whole bunch of stuff about Meghan bullying staff. That's more what she would write. And then you look at the font. It's like a very not, look at the font there, look at the font in the bottom. So this is not true. It's not factual. So I pulled it in here just, in case anyone here had the thought. Always be on the lookout for this, because there are many of us in the squad that are very talented. And I'm not sure if it might be a squaddy that did this one, the Daily Mail one, but always know not everything you read there is real. Always read it and then sort of do some homework and back up and look up articles at what the person would write, and so that that that's not something that you'd write. Funny, it's just like, okay. I mean, the topic is not funny, but it's you put it out there to counter, this is what your article should look like, not that about Meghan bullying, the fake bullying charges. So I pull it in to say, just if just be on the lookout that there's some things are just parody. Some things are there to just, say like, okay, no, I fixed your article. This is what your article should have said. That's what this is doing. So again, nothing to be embarrassed about or anything like that. It's just, I'm just pulling in to say, be on the lookout for that, because people have actually thought they were real. Let's stay in the chat for a second, or at least go back into chat for a second. Let's see. Karen Bryan said, Catherine Bryan, Catherine, says, they say that because they did that with Harry, they cannot believe in relationship. Explain. I don't want to assume what you mean. So if you want to explain, Catherine, or maybe you're not even talking to me. He was talking to, so you're probably responding to someone else. Joy says, when the Andrew interview went bad, that's when the leak that Harry and Meghan were in Canada. The family needed a distraction. Yeah. They definitely did. That's when a lot of the leaks, it's like they need a distraction. They need there's something bad happening. So they need someone, to throw someone under the bus so that they can be distracted, so that people can be distracted. Amy says, Charles has been using Harry for positive press since he was 14 years old. So sad. I'm telling you, I'm like, what kind of father is this man? What kind of, like, are you serious? Yeah. Unbelievable. Lydia says he leaked in hopes of forcing him back to the UK. Thank the Lord for Tyler Perry's kindness. I'm telling you. And also Tyler Perry's security and home and those bushes and stuff that he bought and taught to protect, and gave them privacy. It's just like, thank the Lord Tyler Perry had the money to do all that, and the kindness. I mean, I'm telling you. And I would always believe that it was somebody in the UK that leaked that and again, right after Archie's birthday, the day after Archie's birthday, yeah, somebody in the UK tracked them. B Strong says they're probably tracing his calls. Yeah, that's what I think they did. They were able to trace. I mean, again, they have access to, what is it, MI5 or whatever it's called in the UK. They have access to all that stuff. I'm sure they were doing something. I'm sure, I don't have any I don't have any evidence, but were I to guess, that's what I'd guess. Let's see. Michael Miller. Hello, Michael. Michael says, except most people are buying the book. Most of the people buying the book are supposedly Prince Harry's haters. Would you buy a book from someone that you hate? Michael put 8. No, I'm not gonna buy a book from someone that I hate. I'm just joking. I know you meant hate. I would not. Yeah, exactly. Not only would I not spend my money buying a book about somebody that I hate, I mean, I don't hate anybody, but if I were to hate someone, I definitely wouldn't be spending my money on a book about them. I wouldn't even spend my time, talking about someone, or, create a whole account on social media where I am like hating on them 24/7, which you see, a lot of them, especially with Meghan. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. This stuff is not cheap, and they are spending the money and to hate. And it's just like, you people are crazy. But even within that hate, a lot of them are making money from hating. So that is also a motivation, especially those on, right here on YouTube or wherever other platforms that they're using to make money. They make money from it. So there's a big motivation to hate and to, spend a few bucks, buy a book, and go on Instagram or go on YouTube and do a whole episode hating on the book, and they make money from doing it. And so it's unbelievable. But yeah, let's see. Dolores Sim says they're trying to say that Harry and Meghan wasn't getting more attention than the rest of the family. We remember the Australian tour. You know how they tried to, they tried to change the narrative. And the people who were giving them the attention, the press, are the ones now claiming, oh, they didn't get attention. And it's like, do you remember you were the one giving them attention? You were the one that's covered even today. You are the one that cover them, even though you have the royal family right there. You're the one that's sending people to Montecito to go spy on 2 people who have left. You remember that? The other day, Kate Middleton had her, Christmas service thingy. One of the reporters, he was invited to, I think, Russell Myers. He was invited to the event. Russell Myers decided to skip the event so he can watch the second part of Harry and Meghan, documentary when it dropped. He literally, this is a future queen's event where all the royals were there. Even the king and queen were there. Dude skipped the event so he could stay home to watch the Harry and Meghan documentary. I was just like, are you serious? He did. He talked about it. And it's just like, oh my goodness. Yeah. These are the same people who are giving them the attention, claiming now it's like, oh no, they didn't get. It's like changing the narrative again. Madwell says, Petal the royal family might have been leakers of as well in Afghanistan. Yeah, they wanted Harry home so the spotlight can be removed from his service. I think too. I mean, I wasn't following royal family then, so I had no idea about any of this stuff. So I don't know, and I haven't really read up on the press at the time around that. So I can't speak to it because, again, I only started following this stuff during the baby shower for Archie. So I don't really know. I mean, I only can say from the little video clips that I've seen about it. It seems more is that a lot of that stuff was they wanted him back here because William didn't want to be doing royal stuff, and they pulled Harry so Harry could do it. I guess I haven't really researched this whole thing, so I can't speak with confidence, but that's how it kind of seemed. So I don't know. So who knows? Could be the same. Could be this as well, Mad World. But I couldn't speak with confidence. I can only say what it seemed like because I hadn't looked at the press and all of the ins and outs around that. It was before my time, before my royal paying attention time. So yeah. Terry says Charles realized that he has lost control of Harry and will do whatever it takes to bring him down. Yeah, well, yeah, I could see that. I mean, he's been doing that. I mean, look at how they treated them during the Queen's funeral. If that's not evidence of what Charles would do, he wants to, he wants to seem like he has the power and the control of Harry. That's the narrative. I mean, that's the, that colonial mindset. They always have to feel that they empower. They always have to sort of have their foot on someone before they feel powerful. For some reason, they don't understand, like, no, that's not powerful. So you're just an insecure person. Only insecure people do that. Truly powerful people don't do that kind of stupid stuff, and yeah, but unbelievable. Let's see. Gina says Jason's title keep him from writing a book like the Americans do, with no offense. That could be it too. Plus, he is working with he is still working with Earthshot, so he hasn't left. He's still with them. And as far as I see, he is the Michael Fawcett to Prince William. So yeah. Let's see. Even when he left earlier in the year, he came back. So there you go. Let's see. Joy says she's talking to Terry. While Charles trying to bring Harry down, he's bringing himself down. Charles has been trying for 5 years, still hasn't worked. Well, yeah. I mean, William, the entire monarchy has been trying to do it. And yeah, good luck with that. Again, they're trying to do what they did to Princess Diana, except that was like in the 90s. This is 2023. Harry doesn't need the mainstream media. If he doesn't, I mean, he's using it for these 2 interviews, but he doesn't need it. There's something called social media. There's, all their stuff is exposed that wasn't exposed back in, the 90s when they were doing it to Princess Diana. They didn't have the Sussex Squad to come after them with a bunch of receipts, like pile on receipts upon receipts upon receipts. They don't have that, so they're not as effective. So yeah, they're still playing a 90s game in 2022, now 23. So good luck with that. But don't count Charles out, because that man, he's been around a long time. He knows a thing or two. So don't count him out. I do expect them to come out with barrels blazing at the Sussexes. So buckle up. Diane said that I am dropping on you as well. 60 Minutes interview will expose the unroyal for the clowns they are. They say nothing of what they will expose about themselves before the interview. Yeah. Ooh, it'll be interesting. I really want them to talk about the Queen's funeral, what happened there. I want to know what happened with the Jubilee. I want to know, I want to know what it was like with meeting with the kids, with the Queen. I want to know that. I want to know everything. I want to know about what happened with Archie's birth certificate. There's so many things I want to know. Again, I'm nosy. I just want to know these things, because they're sort of just out there floating out in the air. I want to know what happens to Meghan's dog's legs. I want to know what happened to those fights with Prince William. What happened? I want to know. So hopefully, and again, I really believe a squatty should be doing these interviews, because we know what we want to hear. We know what we want answers to. So yeah. Maybe one day we'll have squatties doing this. Let's see. Ellen Moore says, Happy New Year, Pedal Sussex Squad family. Wishing everyone the best this year and praying to see even more of our Duke and Duchess of success. Yes to everything. Happy New Year to you, Eileen. I appreciate it. One of my dearest friends is named Eileen. I love that name. So thank you, Eileen. Let's see. Benjamin Padilla. Hi, Benjamin. Benjamin says, once the royal family is no longer of any use to the Rhoda will turn on them too. They will. And the thing about it, what I see with this is the more Harry and Meghan zero in on that relationship, what it's doing, it's completely eroding the power of the Rhoda and eroding their influence and their power over the royal family. And even though the royal family, I'm sure they are probably upset at Harry, and they're probably afraid because they know their stuff is out there and the Rhoda could expose them. It's actually, if they stick there, this may actually even end up benefiting them, because what is happening is less and less there, and that's why the Rhoda, they're screaming, all, falling off of a cliff, because they know the power that they have is being eroded and is being exposed. So the royal family actually should be grateful that Harry is breaking the cycle there. So they're not, obviously, because I know they use the Rhoda so they can attack others. So anyway, and Fu says Jason sold his soul to Screaming Bully, and his reward was an air award for being SC Baldy Doggy. I'm not sure what that means, but Jason didn't sell his soul. Jason is a corrupt person. He came from, RBC, that bank, and apparently he was as corrupt there. So no, I don't think he sold his soul. That's just who Jason is. There was a guy who actually, he never responded to me. I think it was when that bullying thing came out, the last bit about it, when the royal family refused to, expose or make public whatever their finding is. Obviously, they didn't do an investigation into bullying, but whatever their findings are, they didn't make it out. And so there was a big thing around that. And someone who worked at RBC, Royal Bank of, I don't know. I don't remember. I think it's RBC or RBS, the name of the bank is, that, there was like a scandal, whatever. But one of the employees there were talking about Jason, went to the royal family with his dark arts that he practiced at that bank. So yeah, no, Jason came there with a bad reputation. So I don't think he sold his soul at all. It's just who Jason Knauf is, apparently. I do have to find that email that I sent to that guy that he never responded, but just so I can sort of follow up on that. Let's see what else is there. Let's see what else I have. I have something else. Yes, there is this article in the Observer, Jamaica Observer, and it says it's called "Defend Meghan Markle," and so it says by this author, and that's her on the side there. It says Commonwealth Caribbean urged to speak up against British press attacks on the Duchess of Sussex. Respected British Jamaican writer and poet Dr. Velma Mount Clement is calling on members of the Commonwealth Caribbean to defend the biracial Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, against outright racist attacks being meted out to her in some sections of the British media. Clement is, in a strongly worded article obtained by the Jamaica Observer, said members of the Caribbean community in Britain are traumatized by the recent vile comments made in the British press about Markle, but bemoan being powerless to tackle the issue, and therefore need support of their counterparts in the region to raise their voices in support of this woman of African descent. And again, I just took out 3 clips from it. It says, due to ongoing systemic racism, we, the Caribbean community in Britain, often located in inner city areas with high levels of deprivation, have no economic power, no real influence, and thus no voice to challenge the racism directed at us via the media, especially the Sun, a section of the British public whose public whose appetite for articles dehumanizing Markle is insatiable, she wrote. Another part of the article says, if the regions do not denounce Clarkson's racist attack, a hate crime, on the king's own daughter-in-law, what is the point of the Commonwealth? She queried, while at the same time questioning who is benefiting from this association of mainly former colonies of the British Empire. This is actually a fantastic article. The link would be in the show notes. I really advise everyone to read this article. And I agree with this article 100% because I've talked about it so much here, about the relationship between, especially leaders of Commonwealth countries, especially in the Caribbean, who are very cozy with the royal family and so will not speak out. I remember tweeting at the Commonwealth General Secretary, Patricia Cortland, or whatever her last name is, and asked when this whole thing started. And I brought in my tweet. This is what I tweeted to her on the 22nd. I'm like, when are you going to say something? I tweeted her, I was like, as Secretary General of the Commonwealth, will you be addressing Jeremy Clarkson's abusive article attacking Meghan, Duchess of Sussex? People across the Commonwealth and the US have been speaking out against this. When can we expect your response? I tweeted to her again on the 23rd. Will you be speaking out against Jeremy Clarkson's abusive article published in the Sun newspaper that attacked Meghan, Duchess of Sussex? Today, the Sun published a gaslighting non-apology. Neither has apologized to Meghan. Will you demand consequences? She hasn't responded. She hasn't spoken about it on Twitter. But she did. I'm going to get to the article that she wrote in a second. But I agree so much with this article and with the fact that, if the royal family especially are silent in all of this, everyone is speaking out. In the US, so many people in all walks of life are speaking out. And again, the royal family is silent. Why are the members of the Commonwealth, who are mostly Black and brown people, not speaking out against this? It's not like they haven't heard. This has been around the world. It's not like they haven't heard. Why aren't they speaking out? Why has the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, a Black woman, not spoken out? And that was one of the reasons I tweeted at her. I'm like, why are you silent? Why aren't you speaking out? And one of the reasons is because they are too close. I've said this about Patricia Cortland so many times. She is too close to the royal family. She is too close. And a lot of times I feel like, and I'm not saying this is everyone, one of the reasons why things aren't going forward, whether it's becoming a republic, whatever, and there's seem to be no haste at all, is because what it appears is that many leaders who claim that they're going to be, getting their country towards becoming a republic are sort of slow walking it, because a lot of them, it comes across as their proximity to royalty is more important than getting their country to be independent, or speaking out in terms of, it's like, you can't tell me this, if, people in the Caribbean and all over Africa here, you cannot tell me the leaders of these countries, or even if maybe the prime minister has somebody knows that this is happening, and all of them are silent. All of them are silent. And you watch, the coronation is coming up. How many of those leaders are going to be at that coronation? In the meantime, while we are still waiting for reparations, they're going to be spending all these hundreds of millions on a coronation that nobody needs, that is not necessary, while their country and their people still are waiting for reparations. And so my thing with this stuff is like, it's so funny. I went on Google just to Google up pictures with Patricia Cortland and King Charles. There were so many I just gave up. I was like, you know what? You can go check yourself. You can just Google Patricia Cortland and Prince Philip. I'm sorry, and King Charles. It's like hundreds of pictures of them. And it's like, they are too close. They will never speak out against anything that will put the royal family in a negative light. And that, for me, is always calling into question, how much are these people really standing up for the people of the Commonwealth? It's funny because after all this, and Patricia Cortland not saying, I'm sorry, they keep saying Scotland, Patricia Scotland, not Cortland. Patricia Scotland is her name. She's the Commonwealth Secretary General. She hasn't said anything. She wrote in this article on the 30th of December. which is a few days ago. So I saw this article online, and it talks about end violence against women and save $1.5 trillion a year. I was like, lady, okay, that's definitely another take on things. So part of the article in the National Observer in Canada, it says, violence against women and girls is not only one of the most pervasive human rights violation, but it's also a significant economic cost. And it is proven that global economic losses 1.5 trillion each year due to the consequences of violence against women, ranging from money spent in hospitals or law enforcement through to income loss when victims miss work. Another clip, again, this is a kind of a long article, so I'm going to put the link, you can read it. But another part of the article, it says, we also need to remember that this is men's violence, and we need to involve them in the prevention and intervention efforts to as active allies. In this regard, we are complementing our policy responses with steadfast advocacy army armed with an array of easy to use advocacy resources. Our Commonwealth Say No More campaign takes a culturally sensitive bottom-up approach towards engaging individuals, communities, and businesses in raising awareness against gender-based violence, involving grassroots leaders to counter harmful social norms and training bystanders to effectively intervene. And while this, for me, I was like, okay, that's fine. The article is fine, whatever. But instead of she lives in the UK. One of the biggest things that she could have done to make any, I don't even know if anybody read, maybe people has. One of the effective things to make really this article be something that people are, could feel like, okay, this is a step forward, is literally doing what she said, training people, bystanders to effectively intervene. This could be a time when she could have intervened. This is a time when she needed to have intervened. This is a time when she could have spoken out as the Secretary General of the Commonwealth. She could have spoken out about what Jeremy Clarkson did. She could have said something. And the fact that she termed this, and yes, I understand the point of, okay, you end violence, you're saving $1 trillion a year. But it's just so cold. And not dealing with misogyny, not dealing with the fact that it's like, oh, no. Let's put ending violence in terms of monetary. And look, that is a valid point. That is a valid thing to consider as a leader. Okay, prevention is better than cure, whatever. You can set up all these associated. But the root of all of this is that people like Patricia Scotland refuse to do anything when it's happening. This is right in your face in the UK. This is happening right then. Speak up, speak out, do something. Go and use your power to get Jeremy Clarkson out of the sun, out of wherever his show is streaming. Use your power to get him out of ITV. That would have gone a long way in making this article and anything else she says about gender violence against women. It would have gone a long way to making her credible. This is just a bunch of words. And it's just so frustrating when people like this, who has the power to do something, would write a whole bunch of words about ending violence to save $1 trillion a year, when the simple thing as using your voice and using the power that you have and the connection that you have to make sure this man has some kind of consequences, to make sure Piers Morgan is off, that he's not there abusing women on the daily, as we just read in the article before. Standing up for your community in the UK who are powerless against the press. That would have gone a long way, a lot further than this article, no matter what is in there. And this is the kind of thing that really frustrates me, with people who are in power that refuses to stand up. Instead of standing up, you quietly write this article and put it out there. Oh, see, look, I checked. I did a check. And it's so frustrating. So frustrating. And as you can see, you know, at the bottom, it's like, as it says, when I say these people are way too close, they're too close to royalty. Patricia Scotland, Casey, born in Jamaica, is the Secretary General of the Commonwealth nation. She is the first woman to hold that post. Good for her. Previously, she was Her Majesty's Attorney General in the UK, the first woman to hold the post, and served as minister in Tony Blair and Gordon Brown's government. She's too close. She's too close to that kind of power. She can't call it out. She's too close. The Commonwealth needs people who are independent, who will look out for Black and brown people, and who will not coddle King Charles, who will not coddle the British upper echelons of whatever they're doing. You know, and it's so frustrating. And again, watch out for whoever shows up for King Charles's, coronation. It just, again, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. It's so frustrating. As a woman, as you read in the article before, you have a whole community in the UK, and you could sense the powerlessness. It's palpable, the powerlessness that they feel, you know, when it comes to the press, when this woman is in such a powerful position. You could call out Prince Charles. You could hold him accountable. You could do, like, why? You have his son in another continent having to call him out, and you're sitting there. And a lot of what he's calling out is abuse against a Black woman. And this woman is, you know, and not just her, there are others like her. I don't want to just put all the blame on her, but she is the Secretary General, and there are lots like her. Those baronesses and all of those, they love running around with these titles. Yet they're right next to power, and they refuse to call it out. They sit there and they gatekeep for white supremacy. And it just, again, why? What is the purpose of the Commonwealth? What is the purpose? And how is it really serving people when all you get is an article like this? Oh, save yourself $1.5 trillion if you end violence against women. Let's make it all about money and how much money you can save. It's just, never mind. You know, it is a new year. Let me move on. I can't. I feel like I just can't. And oh yeah, if you're worrying about, you know, thinking like Jeremy Clarkson is going to get punished in any way, oh look, he's moved up. He's moved up from the tabloid Sun to the glorified tabloid Sunday Times, and apparently he has an article there. And I did not read the article. Talk about pig breeding, that could refer to himself as well. I didn't read it, but you know, look at, he got a promotion. He is now in the Sunday Times instead of the tabloid Sun. Oh joy. Oh joy. And now we have all forgotten, 2 weeks ago what he wrote in the Sun, and we have all moved on, and nobody has suffered any consequence. And that is why the British press is able to destroy people the way they do, because nobody would do anything. Unbelievable. Anyways, this is what we were supposed to talk about today. This is what we were supposed to talk about. And to be honest, again, as I said at the beginning, I watched it, and I think I am overwhelmed. It was amazing, especially, the one about with the prison. Oh, shoot. What is his name? Stevenson? Oh, shoot. I completely forgot his name right now. It's slipped me. But, oh, my gosh. Oh, boy. They were amazing. Greta, and we've been talking about Greta. It's like, I feel like the last week. Amazing. Absolutely. I mean, all of them were amazing. There are so many things, like, I didn't know any of those things. Ari, the lawyer from South Africa, like, I had no idea about his. I'd never heard of him before, honestly. Obviously, we knew about Gloria Steinem, Marie Steinberg, or even what is it? Sia Khaleesi? Didn't know about him. Obviously, when we saw, people posted a photo of him in 2019 with Prince Harry at the World Rugby in Japan when they won, and they were in the dressing room together. I'm like, oh, that's him. Okay, but obviously didn't know anything about his life. So I'm going to go back in and watch it again, because it was so much that I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. It's so amazing. But so I was thinking tomorrow, if not if nothing else drops for spare, we'll talk about it. We can talk about it tomorrow. But there are a couple of tweets that I really, and I love to see people's reactions to the series. And this one, I think what was she? I think she was a journalist. I think she was. Oh, I don't remember. But she says, would I have watched this without involvement of Harry and Meghan? No. Am I beyond inspired by the stories and interviews? Yes. I am grateful to have watched this series and form my own opinion on the content. Thank you, Archwell. And again, the British press, like, apparently they have been dogging the series, and of course we've been tweeting about it incredibly. I mean, all like 90% of the publicity has been us tweeting about it and hashtagging it. Renita Garrison, tall PhD. She's from UC Davis. She says, when applying for my job at UC Davis, I reviewed Ruth Bader Ginsburg's work and Jacinda Ardern's kindness leadership principles. I love Greta Thunberg and Brian Stevenson, action, justice, and being uncomfortable. Their voices and their RN and other RN hashtag Little Lead Netflix with hosts Harry and Meghan. So I just, or shout out action, yeah. So I love that people are really getting stuff from it and they're not listening to the nonsense British press. And the American press have been fine about it. I don't think I've read anything negative in the American press at all. And then Tammy Wilson, who is a Democrat for the U.S. Congress, so she's a politician, she says, you matter, your life matter, your voice matter, your vote matters. Find the leader within. You can create change. Yesterday, I watched the best thing on Netflix, Live to Lead. Be sure to watch it. It's absolutely amazing. And then she, tagged Greta Thunberg, Gloria Steinem, and E.G.I. Oak. And so I just really, and this is just one of a number of people commenting about how amazing the series is. And so if people just, completely ignore the British press and just focus and watch the series, they would be surprised and they will learn a lot. It is just really, if you haven't watched it yet, please do. It is absolutely, absolutely amazing. So I'm going to jump back in the chat before we end and see what you guys are saying about it. And we'll talk about it. I think I'm going to watch 2 of them today because it's overwhelming to watch the whole. I got overwhelmed when I watched all of it. So I'm going to watch 2 of them and then we'll talk about it tomorrow. Compton Caligal says, Live to Lead was brilliant. I hope they continue to showcase more of the people who make a difference. I know. And Brian Stevenson, there was that book, what is called? Oh, shoot. It's called Mercy, something Mercy. And it became a movie. So something Mercy? I forgot the name of the movie, but it is amazing. And I was like, oh, I got to watch that movie as well. So if you know of the movie, at least look it up. It's called something Mercy. Mercy and Brian Stevenson, I think that was part of his story. So let's see. Miss September 15 says, I bet the royal family wish they would have taken the half in, half out deal. Harry said there were 5 options and they took the third and they said no. There you go. I'm sure they wish they did, because at least then they would have had some kind of control. But hey, well, they chose. So Kawhi pushing love. Oh wow, Kawhi pushing love. I love that. That's cool. Welcome. She says, I love Brian Stevenson interviews so much. I have watched that movie about him. The man, and this man is a hero. Yeah. What is the name of the movie? It's called something Mercy. Oh gosh, what is it called? Just Mercy, I think it's called. Or something like that. But yeah, look, if you can look it up, I'm gonna look it up, but I'm gonna actually want to watch it before. Hopefully I can watch it before tomorrow's episode. But yeah, that was so powerful. Oh, Alan says, hi Alan, thank you so much for your donation. Alan says, but don't forget to rate Live to Lead on Netflix. Oh yes, rate it please. Absolutely. I didn't. Oh, thank you for reminding me. Yeah. So definitely rate it. If you watch it, definitely go ahead and rate it. Thank you, Ellen, and thank you for your donation. I appreciate your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. Dolores says, "Do you consider what they do work? The royal family? No. That's not on that. No, absolutely not. Let's see. Um, hmm. Um, let's see. I am scrolling up. Get a couple more before we end. Christine Rowe. Hi, Christine. Christine says, the common connection of all the tabloids and the newspaper and TV programs, the owners, whether it's Rupert Murdoch or someone else, is the power they think they have over women of color. Oh, amen. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. It seems, and especially in the UK, I don't want to just say in the UK, because you see that a lot, especially with right-wing men, especially, is that power. In the UK, women, in the media, also, they have completely bought into the whole misogynistic mindset, and they also try to do that same thing to women, especially women of color. But it just, and it's unbelievable. And again, because that power, or their assumed power, is gone unchecked and nobody has challenged it, and definitely hasn't challenged it the way the Sussexes have, they really, really, really believe that they have the power to make you and destroy you. And again, they've done that to people. They did Princess Diana, you think of Caroline Flack, and so many others that they've done this. So they really have bought into that narrative. And the arrogance to which they speak, it's like, oh, no, we have the power. You have to do what we say, and it's unbelievable. And now all of a sudden it's like, no. Yes. Unbelievable. Let's see. Coco Ambrose. Hello, Coco. Welcome. Coco says, I hope the Republic countries member of the Commonwealth of Nations do not show up. I think the Commonwealth realms do not have a choice. You always have a choice. You always have a choice to say no. Because all of those people are right at this moment supposedly asking for reparations. The royal family and the British government are going to be spending millions upon millions. Never mind that your country has a cost of living crisis. Let's put that aside for a second. They owe the Commonwealth countries billions of dollars that should be going to reparations and not be going to a coronation that nobody asked for and that is absolutely unnecessary. They can say no. They can stand up and have some guts for a change. They can stand up for their people and say, we're not going to be part of this, because that money should be coming to our country that you stole. You're using stolen money. That money should be down payment for all the money you owe our countries. And unless they stand up, they are forever going to be like, oh, yes, you need to give us money. They're not going to get anything if they don't stand up. They have a choice. They have a choice. They choose their proximity to royalty than standing up for their country and their own people. They should not step foot in that country until they get their money. They should not allow the royal family to step foot in their country without paying back their money. They should not. Yet they all bend over backwards, accommodating them in hopes that, the royal family is going to smile on them and somehow become instantly, oh, we should be giving you money. Yeah, that's never going to happen. They do have a choice. I'm sorry, I have to disagree with you there, Coco. I'm sorry, I don't mean to get all passionate about this, but yeah. They choose their proximity to royalty, and that's, so again, they need leaders who will, and leaders that are younger, who don't have this, oh, let me bow and kiss royalty feet, but attitude to lead these countries, to get them to a place where they're like, you're not coming to my country until you pay back reparations. We're not going to be here bowing to you. We're not going to come and have you come to our country, eat our food, dance to it, and then leave us with a bill and go back, and we're still begging for reparations. As that writer in St. Vincent say, if you come to our country, you're going to know that you're stepping on a murder scene. You're stepping on a crime scene that your ancestors created. They all have to have that mentality. This is never going to change. So, yeah, I am so done with Commonwealth leaders bowing to. I am so done with that. Let's see. Oh, wait, Bassani. Bassani Gold says, I found Live to Lead powerful and very informative. Have to watch it again. Same here. Same here. So anyway, let's see the last one before we go. Anfu says Mia Mottley is the best prime minister in the West Indies. She is definitely one of the best, but I'd love to see her speak out for Meghan. She was kind of in my doghouse the other, a few months ago when she allowed herself to be in that episode, that article in The Voice that then Prince Charles, now King Charles, when he guest edited. She was in there, so she's been kind of in my doghouse from there, but she is one of the best. And, I would love to hear her speak out as a woman against, Jeremy Clarkson article. Again, this stuff is not just affecting Meghan. It is affecting the community, the Black and brown community, the West Indian community, the Caribbean community in the UK. As the article said, they are demoralized because people are silent. The people who should be speaking up are silent. And if you could do that to Meghan, what about them? They have no clout. They have no say. If the leaders who are supposed to be representing the Commonwealth are not speaking out, then what chance do they have? So, yeah, it's just unbelievable. V. Thomas says, I agree with... Oh, thanks, V. They have a choice. Remember that when Grenada told Sophie and Edward nothing? Exactly. And Grenada is a tiny country. If Grenada could say no, the rest of them could say no. They didn't go because they said they will not receive them. Exactly. The rest of them have no excuse. Absolutely no excuse. And I feel the same way about no excuse for being silent. They have no excuse. If Al Sharpton in the U.S. could be speaking out, and Al Sharpton is not he's not a Commonwealth country, U.S., and he is speaking out. Yes, Meghan is American, but the thing is, they have no excuse. They really have none. Let's see. Christine says, how do you change? By voting for people that will allow free speech and openness, run for office and vote. You hold the power. There are more women in the UK than men. There you go. Absolutely. Yep. Let's see. One more before we go. Lorna says, where is Jamaican Prime Minister Holness? Yeah. He is the most vocal anti-monarchy population, and I have heard crickets from him. Yep. Absolutely crickets. Absolutely none of them has said a word. So yeah, it just, again, proximity to royalty. There you go. So anyways, that's it, guys. We're gonna end it there. I need to go eat something. My stomach is growling. I was like, Petal, you need food in your tummy. Anyways, TMI probably. Thank you again, Alan. Alan just did another donation. Thank you so much. He says, if Chuck wants troop and coronation, trooping of the color and coronation, he should have them both on the same day. Or none at all. Or if you want that, you just inherited all this millions or billions from the Queen that you don't have to pay tax for. Fund it yourself. I don't care if they go queening and kinging. If they're funded themselves, I wouldn't be talking about it because I really wouldn't care. Fund it yourself. Poor people should not have to be the ones funding this. And especially when you as a country owe people billions of dollars, the money should not be going to a coronation. So that is where I stand on that one. Thank you so much again, Alan. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you taking the time to hang out for a couple of hours at least. I appreciate it. Thank you so much to our awesome moderator, Lydia, Churchnelli, Karen M, Cookies and Cream. Oh, you guys are just amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you for everything that you do to make this make our space safe and wonderful. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much to our 2 cents crew members who support the channel on a monthly basis. I appreciate all that you do to support us. Thank you, thank you. And also our Gold Star supporters who support it right here on these chats and also in our comments, whether it's super chats, super stickers, super thanks, or just straight up just a donation. PayPal, Cash Apps, or merchandise if you purchase any. I appreciate all of you so much for your support in every way that you have. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So anyway, guys, I would see you. I will chat tomorrow. I'm going to go off later and watch the documentary again so we can chat tomorrow, providing nothing else drops about Spare. And I will see you guys then. I love you all. Have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.